let me start here. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see so many people here today. So welcome, and it's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to the investiture ceremony for the Alfredo H. Ang Family Professor in Civil and Environmental Engineering. My name is Ana Barros, and I serve as the head of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. One of the greatest joys in my role as head is to share in momentous occasions such as this, and we are here today to recognize Professor Paolo Gardoni. As we look forward to today's ceremony, I would first like to introduce you to some very special people who are here to share in this celebration. Paolo is joined today by his wife, Colleen Murphy, his sons, Peter and Patrick, and his mother, Anna Sala. Also here are his mother-in-law and father-in-law, Kathleen and Robert Murphy, and brother-in-law, Kevin Murphy. Would you all please stand? Without a doubt, balancing the demands of work with family responsibilities can be a challenge, and it wouldn't be possible without such a strong support system. Thank you for your continued support and of our valued colleague. I am also delighted to have members of the Ang family here. Present at today's investiture are Professor and Mrs. Ang and their daughters, Irene Strobin of Menasha, Wisconsin, and Evelyn Ang of Milwaukee. Would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you all for your support of the department and our faculty. We are honored to have you here today. So now is the turn to introduce Vice Provost for Academic Affairs, Bill Bernard. Considering the importance of named professorships and chairs to the University of Illinois, it is fitting that we begin the ceremony with remarks from a university perspective. We are honored to have with us today Bill Bernard, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Vice Provost Bernard provides leadership in the areas of academic and faculty affairs. His portfolio includes faculty development, the Provost Fellows Program, human resources, academic awards, and assessment. Please join me in welcoming Vice Provost Bernard.
So thank you, Anna. I am deeply honored to represent university leadership here today to celebrate Professor Gardoni on his investiture as the Alfredo Ang Family Professor. And on behalf of the Provost, let me offer my congratulations on this richly deserved recognition. These investitures offer us an opportunity to come together, to appreciate the accomplishments of our colleagues, to celebrate their contributions, and simply to say thank you. Thank you for making our institution a better place to work. Thank you for making our community a better place to live. Thank you for making our university a world leader in innovation and discovery. And coming out of the challenges of the past 2 years, these investitures have really offered us, I think, a great opportunity to recreate, rebuild, and regain a sense of intellectual community and collegiality. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to be part of today's investiture, just as I was glad to be part of Colleen's investiture a few months ago. These investitures also offer us an opportunity to reflect on the shared purpose and vision. The Next 150, our strategic plan, states that our university's goal is to be the preeminent research institution with a land-grant preeminent research university with a land-grant mission. That land grant mission means that the University of Illinois has a special responsibility, a responsibility to lead in discovery and innovation, a responsibility to teach students from all walks of life, to provide them with the knowledge, skills, and vision to become leaders in their communities, and a responsibility to be fully engaged and enmeshed with the communities that we serve. That mission means we expect more from our faculty. It's not just enough to be the leading expert in the field. We also expect those faculty to apply their expertise to real-world problems that address fundamental challenges in society. We expect them to share their knowledge with students and to disseminate their knowledge and expertise to the community around us. A named appointment is the highest honor we bestow on our faculty, and we reserve that honor for faculty who have excelled in this fundamental issue. Professor Gardoni's research, scholarship, and teaching clearly meets this very high standard. That land grant mission also influences alumni and friends of the university, like Professor Ang and his family. Our alums, like the Ang family, recognize the importance of our mission and how the university can contribute to transforming society, to improving lives, and making a difference. They want to invest in that mission and the people who carry it forward. As a university, we rely on their generosity so we can better serve our communities through excellence in rich scholarship teaching, and service. And we are very, very grateful for your generosity and kindness and thoughtfulness. So let me just one more time offer my congratulations to Professor Gardoni and his family. This recognition is a significant milestone in your career, and we look forward to even more achievements in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Provost Bernard, for being here and sharing with us today. Before we move on to the investing of our valued colleague, I'd first like to share how this appointment came to be. The Alfredo H. Ang Family Civil Engineering Faculty Fund was established by Dr. Alfredo Ang and his wife, May, in 2019 to support faculty members in the field of reliability engineering and risk management of civil infrastructure. Professor Ang earned his MS in 1957 and PhD in 1959 from CE at Illinois, and served on the faculty from 1959 until 1988. He is currently a professor emeritus at the University of California, Irvine. Professor Ang's main area of research is on the application of probability and reliability in civil and structural engineering, with emphasis on the safety of engineering systems, including seismic risk and earthquake engineering, a quantitative risk assessment, life cycle cost and performance, and a sustainability of green buildings and infrastructure. He is a member of the National Academy of Engineering. And thank you. I think we should. We have amazing alums, so that's why I thought it would be appropriate. So as there's no possible way for a short bio in an event program to tell us all that Paolo has done to be so deserving of this recognition, we are pleased to have his friend and colleague, Professor Armen Derkerugian, here via Zoom to provide a more in-depth introduction. Professor Derkerugian is the Emeritus Taisei Professor of Civil Engineering in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of California, Berkeley, as well as the former president of the American University of Armenia. He received his BS and MS degrees in civil engineering from the University of Tehran in Iran, and his PhD in structural engineering from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. In 1975, the same year as Professor Alfredo Ang. Among his many achievements, Professor Derkerugian is an elected member of the US National Academy of Engineering, an elected foreign member of the National Academy of Engineering of Armenia, and a foreign member of the National Academy of Sciences of Armenia. His many prestigious awards include the Alfred Freudenthal Medal from the Engineering Mechanics Division of ASCE, and the George Winter Medal from the Structural Engineering Institute of ASC. He is also a distinguished alumnus of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Please join me in welcoming Professor Armando Kerugian.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, good afternoon. I'm really sorry for not being there in person. I'm now in Yerevan, the capital of Armenia, some 7,000 to 8,000 miles away, visiting the American University of Armenia. As some of you may know, I'm one of the founders of this 30-year-old university. And as was mentioned, I served as the fourth president from 2014 to 2019. This investiture event is a very special occasion for me, since one of my very best doctoral students, now a distinguished professor at my alma mater, is being honored with a professorship named after my own professor. I still remember the day in early fall 1972 when I visited Professor Ang's office on the third floor of Newark Hall to ask about a research assistantship he had announced in the area of risk and reliability. I remember him asking me whether I had taken any courses on probability theory. I had none. He said that was okay as long as I took his courses. I took 2 courses with him that semester. The probabilistic approach of his courses proved to be logical and easy to grasp for me, and devoid of the somewhat dogmatic approach I had seen in other courses. So I worked under his direction and completed my doctorate in late 1975. Once again, I want to thank Professor Ang for his superb mentorship and for putting me on this career path. Paolo's journey to the field of risk and reliability analysis was more sophisticated than mine. With degrees from Milan Polytechnic and Tokyo University, Paolo came to Berkeley in fall 1997 with a considerably broader experience, including work on use of shaped memory alloys for base isolation and control. He explored research topics with several of my Berkeley colleagues until he took a risk analysis course with me. As I had experienced 25 years earlier, he got fascinated by the probabilistic method and decided to redirect his research. That was fortunate, since at the time, my colleague, Professor Khalid Musallam, and I were looking for a research assistant for a project on seismic fragility analysis of reinforced concrete bridges. Paolo did an outstanding job in his research, developing a novel and rigorous approach that led to many other follow-up studies and practical applications. In the meantime, he got a master's degree in statistics along with his PhD in civil engineering. I have been very fortunate to have many outstanding doctoral students at UC Berkeley, and Paolo was one of the very best. I still remember his innovative presentations at our weekly seminar series, and I must add his fantastic sense of humor. I knew then that Paolo would go very far, and my assessment has proven to be correct. While he has remained largely in the field of risk and reliability analysis, he has broadened his research to include sustainability, resilience, machine learning, sensors, control, optimization, and the philosophical and social aspects of risk analysis. Along the way, he has also served as a leader in his profession, as the director of the MAE Center, as the editor-in-chief of Reliability and Engineering and System Safety, one of the most important journals in our field, as the founder and editor-in-chief of the Journal of Sustainable and Resilient Infrastructure, as the editor of several important books on risk and reliability analysis, and as member of the leadership of various professional organizations, including SERA and IFED. I looked into his record of publications in Google Scholar. You know how these applications list one page at a time. His publications in 2022 completely filled the first page with 20 items. I had to go to the second page to find out that he has published 28 journal papers in 2022, and we are only 1/3 of the way for this year. As many of you know, a good measure of impact of a scholar is the edge factor. Paolo's impressive edge factor of 56 is the highest among all of my former doctoral students and postdocs, including those who graduated well before him. I think Paolo very well deserves the honor that is being bestowed on him today. I want to end my remarks by repeating how happy I am to see a professorship named after my doctoral advisor being bestowed upon one of my very best doctoral students, and this is happening at my alma mater. My warm congratulations to Paolo, to Colleen, to Gardoni and Murphy families, and to Professor Ang and his entire family, after whom this professorship is named. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kerugian, for your words. And now please join me in welcoming Dean Gabel for the investing of Professor Gardoni.
Thank you very much, Anna. I'm delighted to be here today. My name is Philippe Gabel. I'm the Executive Associate Dean from the Granger College of Engineering, and it's a true privilege for me to represent the college to this ceremony. Before we move on to the investing of Professor Gardoni, I would like first to recognize the Ang family for their tremendous generosity. We have a tradition in this university, the first time that a professorship is given to a faculty member, we share a shadow box, which has a copy of the same medallion that the faculty member will receive. We share this with the family of the donor. So if I would like to invite you to come to the stage, the Ang family, and so we can give you this the shadow box, and then we'll have the chance to listen to you. All right? Okay, so please. Thank you very much. Pleasure for me to give you this shadow box recognition for your generosity of creating professorship. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Absolutely. Let me give you this microphone.
Well, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, fairly.
Why don't you just tack it in here? Well, thank you. And also, for the first time, I met your new department head, Anna, last night, and I'm very impressed. And I, of course, wish her every luck to continue this the headship of this distinguished university. First of all, my congratulations to Professor Paolo Gardoni. uh, for being selected to be the Alfredo Ang Family Professor. I have known him and of his work for a number of years. And as you heard Professor Dirk Regan, I certainly agree with what he said about Professor Gardoni. We are very happy that he is the Ang Family Professor. My dear wife, Myrtle May, and I, together with our children, Evelyn, Irene, and Jim, our son, who is not here today, are happy that we are able to establish this endowed professorship to civil engineering at this distinguished university. This endowment is based on our stock holdings in the TIAA CRIF. As you all know, TIAA CRIF is not part of the retirement of this university. But at that time, you know, we thought we have to invest every opportunity we have because when we came here, we were so poor. At that time, we started to contribute to this fund. We were still poor, as I said. So whatever we contribute was taken out of our family budget to support our young family. For this reason, it is appropriate that this endowment includes my family, my wife, and 3 children. Personally, it is our great privilege to be able to establish this endowment position at this foremost University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. We owe much to the CE department, where I received my PhD and served on the faculty for over 30 years, and to the university as a whole, where our daughter Irene obtained her BS degree in chemical engineering, and our son Jim obtained his BS in mechanical engineering. Also, our granddaughter Claire recently obtained his BS in molecular biology, who is now a graduate student studying for a PhD at Harvard University with full support. Finally, as a personal note, my wife and I are forever grateful to former Professor N.M. Newmark, who offered me a research assistantship
that allowed us to come to the US and for me to study for the PhD and develop my academic career. We were really poor at that time when we first arrived at this university. I arrived at that time in San Francisco from Manila, Philippines. And I had to take the least expensive transportation, which is the Greyhound bus. And it took me about a week to arrive here in Urbana. But it's not just 1 week. Every night I could not sleep much. Every hour or 2 hours, the bus would stop. And everybody has to leave the bus and of course, wake up. Also, we lived for 1 year on my half-time research assistantship, which is after tax, it's $120, and $80 of that has to go to our rent. So that's how we live on for 1 year. We were fortunate that many of our investment turned out to be very well. We bought Microsoft and also Apple in the early days. Besides, of course, TIAA, CRIP. I should conclude that this country, the US, had been very kind to us. You know, and we will never forget all the friends and that we made in this country. So thank you again. Very good. Thank you.
So again, it's a true pleasure for me to represent college to this investiture ceremony. Now we move on to the actual investing of Professor Gardoni. And this college has a lot of very fantastic scholars, and many of them are being recognized, right? This is the 18th and last investiture ceremony that we've had this semester, right? We had a lot of catching up to do. And I'm delighted to have this ceremony in this department, right? Civil and environmental engineering is truly a jewel in this college. I realized this when, as a graduate student, I started to use the Newmark time stepping scheme, right? The one that you use when you do simulation of structural dynamics problem. And then as an assistant professor, when I showed up here, I happened to enter the building that had the same. And I knew that this was clearly a special place to have these kind of absolutely fantastic scholars. I'm delighted today that we recognize Professor Gardoni, who's clearly a remarkable scholar in a remarkable department. Now, this being said, 28 publications in 2022, that seems really, do you sleep? And I also would like to recognize the leadership that he has shown for his professional society. I mean, he's done quite a few things for his professional society in terms of editorship and other things. So it's really my privilege and honor to perform the official investing of Professor Paolo Gardoni as the Alfredo H. Ang Family Professor in Civil and Environmental Engineering. The investiture as a named professor is one of the highest honors that a faculty member can receive, and today's investiture ceremony reflects that dignity. On behalf of the Granger College of Engineering, let me say that we are extremely proud of Paolo and his many accomplishments. Named faculty positions communicate the global eminence of our faculty to the world's academic community. They empower us to open new worlds of discovery through brilliant scholarships and to make an impact on humanity. They are critical in the retention of world-class scholars like Paolo that we have here at the University of Illinois. So today begins a new day for Paolo, maybe for an additional 28 papers for this year, one that encompasses and anticipates the yet unknown breakthrough knowledge and pioneering research made possible through the support of generous donors like the Ang family. So today is a day to celebrate excellence, excellence in teaching, excellence in research, excellence in service. So Professor Gardoni, would you please come forward to receive your medallion? Next, we check everything is correct. All right, that is correct. Yeah, all right.
Executive Vice Provost Bernard, Executive Associate Dean Gabel, Department Head Barros, colleagues, family, and friends. It is a great honor for me to be a faculty in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. This is the best civil engineering department in the world, and the structures group of which I'm part of and for which I currently serve as chair is the best structural engineering group in the world. This is the department where modern civil engineering developed into what it is today. Some of the fathers of our field and the biggest names were faculty here, like Arthur Talbot, R.D. Cross, Nathan Newmark, and Ralph Peck, just to name a few. Among all, Professor Newmark, who was a student of R.D. Cross, is arguably the most recognized and acclaimed name in civil engineering in the world. He was also one of the founders of the National Academy of Engineering in 1966. One day, in the late 1950s, a young boy walked into Professor Newmark's office and started to work with him. The young boy, who today we know as Professor Alfredo Ang, went on to receive his MS in 1957 and his PhD in 1959, and later became a faculty in our department. Professor Ang is the father of modern risk and reliability analysis and a member of the National Academy of Engineering since 1976. Professor Ang brought rigorous probabilistic methods into a field that had been traditionally only deterministic. With his work, he has made pioneering contributions to probability-based safety analysis and design applied to a variety of problems in engineering. Professor Ang started the Illinois School of Risk and Reliability Analysis, which has shaped the entire field and made more contributions, both methodological and practical, than any other school in the world. Contributions from the Illinois School of Risk and Reliability Analysis come both directly from Professor Ang as well as from his students, who had their own amazing successes and have become luminaries in this field. Two of his most successful students are, in chronological order of graduation, Professor Bruce Henleywood, who received his PhD in 1972, and Professor Armand Derkuragan, who received his PhD in 1975. Professor Henleywood, a member of the National Academy of Engineering since 2001, is an internationally recognized authority for his tremendous contributions to structural reliability theory and probabilistic risk assessment. and has been a leader in our field also by serving as the editor-in-chief of one of the very top journals in our discipline. Professor Dirk Reagan, a member of the National Academy of Engineering since 2011, has made fundamental and revolutionary research contributions to areas of structural reliability, risk analysis, random vibrations, and earthquake engineering. His scholarly contributions are known for their mathematical elegance, precision, and meticulous attention to details. Like Professor Eng, also Professor Ellenwood and Professor Dirk Reagan created a legacy of scholars that are now the new leaders in risk and reliability analysis, and today's representatives of the Illinois School. One day in 1998, 24 years ago, a young boy walked into Professor Dirk Reagan's office, just like Professor Dirk Reagan did about 25 years earlier, walking into Professor Eng's office. And Professor Eng did about 50 years earlier, walking into Professor Newmark's office. And he fell in love with the topic of risk and reliability analysis and started to work with Professor Dirk Reagan. The young boy is me, not young anymore. During my years as a graduate student in different countries, Italy, Japan, and the US, and in different fields, engineering and statistics, several faculty members played an important role in and made important contributions to my education and professional and personal growth. Among all, Professor Dirk Reagan excelled as an outstanding advisor, mentor, and role model. He shared with me his world-leading knowledge and expertise in the field of risk and reliability, adeptly guided me through the requirements of my PhD, and cultivated my research and professional development. He and his family provided me with the warmth, kindness, and hospitality of a family when I was an international student with a family in Italy. I remember with much pleasure the Thanksgiving days spent with Professor Dirk Reagan, his wife Nellie, daughter Naira, and son Sebo, when they welcomed me as one of them at their house. A few years have now passed, and now I have published over 200 peer-reviewed journal papers. I have research funding that well exceed $50 million, and I have graduated 26 PhD students and 33 master students. However, I still see clearly that all of my success stories as a faculty are due to the continuing influence and inspiration of the Illinois School of Risk and Reliability Analysis, started by Professor Eng. It is my highest honor to be part of this dynasty of giants and amazing scholars, and to accept this endowed position that honors Professor Eng and his family. I would like to thank Professor Eng and his family, his wife, my son James, and two daughters, Evelyn and Irene, for their support over the years, their kindness and generosity, which made this endowed position possible. I consider them as part of my own family. I'm very thankful to Professor Dirk Reagan for all he has done for me as one of his PhD students, for being an outstanding advisor, mentor, and role model, and to his entire family for welcoming me as one of them. I also would like to thank Professor Khalid Mossalan, who served as my co-advisor along with Professor Dirk Reagan during my PhD, and Professor Yoso Fujino, who served as my advisor during my master at the University of Tokyo in Japan. I would like to thank Professor Ellenwood for his influence and inspiration, and for being an invaluable example of ethical conduct, which is especially important in the sometimes challenging world of collaborative research. Sometimes the journey is just as important as the end result. I would like to thank all of my previous colleagues and friends at Texas A&M University, where I started this journey and my academic career. I would like to thank all of my colleagues and friends in this department and at Illinois for their support, for making this department still today the best department of civil and environmental engineering in the world, and Urbana-Champaign the best place where to be. I want to thank Professor Alva Locke and the entire award committee for selecting me as the inaugural recipient of this endowed position. Professor Vallocchi had the vision, perseverance, and fairness to make this happen. Also want to thank Provost Cangelaris, Executive Vice Provost Bernard, Dean Bashir, and Executive Associate Dean Gabel for their support over the years and for making my career at Illinois successful and being very instrumental to make this recognition happen. I would like to thank Professor Anna Barros for her support and leadership of our department. I also want to thank Vicki Dixon, Celeste Book, Christina Shidlowski, Kelly Ashman, Megan Everett, and Meg Griffin for organizing this impeccable event. I want to thank all of my students, postdocs, and visiting scholars who share with me this amazing journey. This endowed position is really a recognition of their remarkable work, passion for research, rigor and relentless drive toward excellence, ingenuity and creativity, and perseverance, dedication, and commitment. I want to thank my family, my mom, Anna Sala, who was able to come from Italy for this special event, my dad, Giulio Gardoni, and my brother, Alberto, for their support over the years. I want to thank my entire in-law family for their support, including Kathleen, Bob, and Kevin Murphy, who were able to be here today. I want to thank my two sons, Peter and Patrick. While they are still at a young age, 11 and 8, they have attended several of my classes and presentations, joined me at conferences and in meetings with NSF program directors, heard me complain about many things, and most importantly, share with me the joy of many successes. Their own stories and successes are now my new inspirations. And finally, I want to thank my wife, my best friend and best collaborator, Professor Colleen Murphy. We met at Texas A&M University when our academic careers started. In a way, Robert Gates, then president of Texas A&M University, was our matchmaker. Colleen has been by my side and often ahead of me through this entire amazing journey and continues to be my inspiration. Thank you all for making this amazing day possible.
Thank you very much for your words and congratulations again for this great recognition. I see some of our graduate students here, and I hope you take on this moment, right, with Professor Ang here and Professor Gardoni, because this is how the future begins, right? So I want to thank you all for joining us in this momentous celebration. Can we please have one more round of applause for Professor Gardoni and his honor in being named the inaugural Alfredo Ang Family Professor in Civil and Environmental Engineering. As we conclude the ceremony, we ask everyone who was involved in the ceremony to please remain in the room for group photos, and everyone else, please join us outside for the reception. We hope you'll take a few minutes to congratulate Professor Gardoni and encourage him in this next chapter of his career. Not that he needs any encouragement, but yes, go ahead. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you.